Sup guys, so today I wanted to talk about what made me blackpilled, or at least, what drove me to be such, and I bet a few of you will relate as well. It all started in early 2022 when I was 16, and game didn't hit the same no more, so I decided to try something new out, since I was feeling pretty lost and empty inside. While searching up solutions for boredom, I stumbled upon the concept of self-improvement, and the red pill, and all that cope. However, 1 year prior to that, I already tried to get my ass into training with weights to build a nice physique, but anyways that summer I was way too lazy to even do that, so I only trained a few times, without really changing anything about my situation. Oh, by the way, this was before the self-improvement bullshit era of me. I remember I only used to have 2 kilograms weights to train with. So I used that as an excuse the whole summer to not do shit. Back in the days I didn't realize it, but the reason I wanted to improve my physique, now that I think about it, has always relied on lookism, genetics, and such. Now, when I was 15, I used to claim that I wanted to improve my physique because I wanted to look better for myself. Well, to a degree that was true, but not the sole reason. Unconsciously we as people and humans understand that we live in a society, and have to interact with one another, and in society there are unwritten rules, biases, and things that fly under the radar. So even while still not fully grasping the concept of lookism, to an unconscious level, you are aware of it, and so was I. It all started when I realized I was built like a bag of chips, classic skinny fat build, pudgy looking. The moment that got me into that realization was when I saw my reflection in a bus's window. I saw all of my peers' reflection as well. We were on our way home from school, and I couldn't help it but compare theirs to mine. I noticed I looked worse, weird, outstanding, but not in a positive way, surely not manly looking, or dimorphic like a young man or teenager. I had narrow shoulders, broader hips compared to most guys, my lats and back wasn't like the one you would expect in guys. On top of that, I had a short torso, skinny arms. Since I'm an ectomorph, that means my bones and wrists look slim and small. To make matters worse, I'm 5'5", brutal. I hoped that by going to the gym, or weight training to gain muscles, things would change for the better, and I finally would look better. I remember that when I was 15, I still have a few fleeting memories of me looking into the mirror and being almost disgusted at the way I looked. I already was somewhat capable of understanding lookism and aestheticism, even questioning if whether or not having muscles would really change my frame. I remember I would say to myself, oh, but this won't fix the fact that I have wide hips, and etc., because that's bone. But at the time I had a weird conception of the gym, thinking it could make such a drastic difference it would completely change my looks. I was wrong. No amount of muscle filling will compensate your lack of bone structure, or the fact that it isn't dimorphic or aesthetic. This just shows you that as humans we are already programmed to see things in a certain way. And if some of you motherfuckers say comparison is the thief of joy, well fuck you, that ain't true. Reality is the thief of joy. Comparison just makes you realize your place in that reality. And when you start getting aware of it, and its implications, of course you get sad, especially if it means it's a thing that usually affects an individual negatively. Like nigga, I was 15 and shit got me thinking I had Klinefelter syndrome, asking my mama if I was born with 47 chromosomes and XXY genes. Brutal. Luckily enough I don't have that one. To this day I remember walking up to the bus stop from school, and all the other guys somewhat looked dimorphic and manly. There was this one motherfucker particularly that looked as if he was crushing that gym shit. Only when I got into training for a bit, I realized he didn't even train at all, he just looked like that. Brutal bro, some men are truly born leagues above you, and you'll never reach them. Life ain't fair. Getting back to my initial point, in 2022 I got sold that red pill cope, by Hamza and some few other copers. The reason why I started becoming so wasn't mainly because of my physique, it was because I was feeling empty, and didn't know what to do. I was just living that same loop of gaming and being indoors. This was slightly post-COVID, late 2021, the physique shit was summer 2021, however in late 2021 while feeling empty because of other things, I had a rushing desire to take the gym stuff seriously again, the training, the dieting, you name it. It was like I made my mind up preparing for war. After begging my family to cop me some weights to train with, finally I got them in March 2022. At the same time, Hamza was in my feed 24/7. If you really think about it, the gym is a cope for people who in most cases have to compensate for the lack of something. Looks, in most cases. When I started training, I used to watch all of these videos of genetically blessed outliers who would make videos about their body transformation in a year or two, and my sub-5 ass was thinking, wow, that's crazy that in a year or two I'll look like that. Then just after a few months I noticed that somehow my gains were not matching the average guy's progress, either in strength nor muscle mass. Which it wasn't a big deal since I was a scrawny skinny fat newbie, but the main difference I saw It was that compared to other gym goers my physique still wouldn't match their muscle mass progress. It would take a nigga like me 9 months to look like what the average nigga looked like in 3 months of progress. But this is when all things changed. I somewhat heard the word genetics from some other YouTuber, heck, it might have been Hamza too, and I quickly understood the implications of it. I was a few months in and I was already blaming my genetics for my lack of progress. Now, red pill gurus and meatheads on YouTube would gaslight you to oblivion for blaming your genetics, saying shit like, "Oh bro, it's because you don't train hard enough. It's because you're still a beginner, it's because you don't eat enough, it's because your program sucks, it's because you lack discipline, stop using genetics as an excuse bro," and so on. They were right on a few things, so as the youngin' I was, I gave them the benefit of the doubt. I started going to a real gym since I used to train with free weights in my garage my first 6 months, improved my program, my routine, diet, you name it, going to failure and training with intention, sleeping and resting, you know. Funny enough, I gained a few kilos, but it wasn't much compared to my peers and other gym goers. In a year I was able to gain around maybe 7 kilos of muscle mass, and I still looked like shit. That's when I realized I was right all along, but I still had a few doubts regarding genetics. Still I was convinced as fuck that genetics played a huge role in your physique progress. I would say at the time, mid-2023, I was 95% sure, and I left room for only 5% of doubt it wasn't genes. LMAO. And that's only because one fraud nigga on roids on YouTube told me to wait for 2 years to make a fair judgment if it was genetics or not. Needless to say that around late-early 2024 my ass got fully blackpilled. 100%. Like nigga, I didn't even need the 2 years mark to know shit wouldn't change. Around late summer of 2023, I used to watch Hamza debating the red pill against wheat waffles, and man. When I saw that shit I tried to cope denying wheat waffles' worldview. However, something in me kicked in, because bro was always mentioning genetics, and I was already on that train of thought. But I applied that line of thinking only to my physique, and I was curious to see what he had to say on other things such as women, face card, you name it. When I saw his videos on chads and such, I just couldn't deny it. Deep inside of me, I couldn't help it but notice those guys look tremendously better than the others, and due to that, they will of course be rewarded in life. Deep down I knew this fucker was spitting the truth, but I still wanted to leave room for copes, saying stuff like, "Yeah, you trippin'." At the time, sometimes I was thinking, well, if this applies to height, faces, why couldn't it be the same for my physique or life? And just after a few months I had accepted that as the truth. The infamous black pill. This was around early 2024, both for my physique, face, height, life. But by the end of 2023 I was already seeing the truth of it, coping a little bit here and there, still wishing. So yeah. That's pretty much almost the full reason why I became blackpilled. The gym was the opening gate for that. Got me looking up genetics and shit. I mean guys. Think about it, you wouldn't need to question yourself so much if you truly was a genetically gifted person, or at least average. My punk ass was always questioning, why am I not looking like that? Why is taking so long for me to make progress? Why other guys get there quicker? Why I'm stuck at this level of strength? Why am I stuck at this body weight? I was right nigga. It was genetics all along. The fucking BP. My failing gym progress made me notice some men got shit on their side, some are born with it, some have to work for it, some have to work for it harder and longer, some instead no matter how hard they work or what they'll do, will never reach that goal. And in this field, I knew it was my case. Some just got it by default by doing nothing or with minimal effort. It's just that shit's out of our control. And life never claimed to be fair to begin with. That broke my little bubble I was in. Just think about it for a second, me getting brutally physique mogged by other gym goers. I used to observe them. You could see a whole spectrum of aestheticism. People just look so much different from one another. While so little differed in their training, almost everybody in there was putting effort, yet, they all looked different. Or not on par with the top guys. You would have guys being in the game for 5+ years and still looking like shit, and you would see them bust their ass. Meanwhile some of them just in 8 months of training, looked somewhat good, full, aesthetic. It's even more brutal getting mogged by females having a better physique than you. After 4 years of training, 3.5 done with real consistency on my behalf, if you take a look at me, you wouldn't really think I train at all, and if so, it looks like the physique an average gym goer gets in 8 months to a year. While the genetically blessed guy is just born with it. I mean, just look at black people, some of them already got that build going on, cap delts, pecs, abs, back, like nigga just look at Lil Wayne, that motherfucker is born like that, with that athletic looking physique, nigga had interviewers asking him about what's his training routine and stuff. So yeah. That's the story. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments, share similar stories, and stay tuned for future videos. See ya!